If you don't feel the glide of the dick moving in and out of the vagina, you're not actually stroking it. You're just doing a wobble. It's gonna look like this inside. Like this.
I feel like I be
Right?
doing that. Lord Jesus.
But a glide is like that.
How do you glide? Again, we were talking about like a lot of couples who are probably bored in their sex life. I can name a few. If you had your top 3 things that you would say advice that you would give, 1 or 2, 3 things to couples who are bored, unfulfilled in the bedroom, what would that be?
First things first, where's your mental health? Like, you did a mental health check at the beginning of this conversation. And that's really important because what I know, and I've seen this firsthand, is that sometimes when couples have like a neurodivergence at play, or depression, or bipolar, or anything that's impacting the mind and consciousness, PTSD, huge one.
Right.
Huge. And PTSD isn't just from people who go to the military.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if there's a mental health issue that's gone untreated, or even if it is a mental health issue that's being treated, sometimes the medications suppress libido and suppress desire.
Yeah.
And so it's examining first, where is mental health, where is physical health, and then where is your intimacy? Because for some people, I'm just going to say it plain.
Yeah.
For some people, sexual intercourse may not even be an option anymore because of where that person's health is at mentally or physiologically.
Right.
So, especially if a person is on medication long term for treating like depression or any other like mental health issues, their libido might be so suppressed that they just don't have that desire anymore. Wow. And there are more and more people who are identifying as asexual, which I think like, hey, that is really a thing, because there are some people who just don't think about it and are like, I'm okay without it.
Right.
So what I know based on the work that I've done with couples, the conversations I've had with couples, what I know people crave more than anything is intimacy. And intimacy can be non-sexual. A majority of the intimacy that we experience is non-sexual. So that's the second thing, is like, where is your intimacy?
I just said this on a podcast episode this week. Oh my God.
And being able to implement new rituals and things that you can do together to deepen intimacy. And then also figuring out, like, when it does come to actual sex, like, is it a mismatched libido thing, or is it just mismatched desire? Because some people have spontaneous desire where it just arises naturally or whatever. And then there's those that have a triggered desire where, like, once something is happening, like they see a sexual act, or they start being touched, or, you start making out, and then now they're in the mood for sex. If you are in a relationship with somebody that doesn't have the same desire style, then that can literally be the foundational crack in really coming together sexually. And so that's why people need coaches, because there's a certain line of questioning that a coach will do in order to figure that out. And even with, on top of that, you add in, what time of day do you feel, at your peak, if you even feel it? Because again, a person who has to be triggered to feel desire, they don't feel it at all any time of the day. And so there's a lot here to unpack. And this is why I suggest that couples get a coach, because okay, you can go to the sex shop and get new toys and get a little sex game and all of that. And for some people, doing that may work. But for people who have chronically been in a sexless marriage or a sexless relationship for like, years, maybe even a decade or more, right? Going to
a decade
a sex shop hey, there are people out here that have they and I would say these are probably old school couples.
Yeah.
So people like 50 and above,
Mhm.
where the sanctity of marriage is upheld by them, and so they remain in marriage even if the sex is not there,
Mm.
because that's not the focus
Right.
of the relationship. It's
Right.
something that they want and desire. However, they're okay without it because what the relationship represents for them
Right.
is way bigger than just sex,
Mm.
right? I
Wow.
think couples that are like under 50, there's less people staying together that long, especially
Mm.
when sex is not on the table.
Right.
Um, Sexless marriages will typically end in divorce, and then like if they divorce amicably, then there's a friendship there, right? But if there is a chronic
Mm.
if it's a chronic sexless marriage, going
Jesus.
to the sex shop or going to a sex club or doing any of the surface based things that people typically suggest to spice up your relationship
Mhm.
isn't going to work.
Right. Mm.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's not going to work.
This
And it's like putting a band aid on a gushing open wound.
right. Right.
It
That
is not going to heal.
that libido conversation is scary. I'm gonna just be I keep saying this transparent honest. I this is my problem. And I have a 1 year old. She's about to be 2, so I don't. I'm thinking. I'm trying to figure out like, is damn, am I in postpartum, whatever? But my partner is
Mm.
always ready to have sex, every day, every hour, every minute. No, I mean, like, if the wind blow, I have an erection. I'm ready. Me, I always say that I'm a sapiosexual. Like, I like mental stimulation is what makes me want to have sex and want to be intimate. How do you like work through that? Because if you have a partner who's always ready, and you just literally just answer this for me, like, people who are always ready and people who need triggers, like, how the hell that work? How does that work?
So that's where you have to have a conversation with your partner
Mm.
around what it means for you to be turned on
Mm-hmm.
mentally.
Mm.
And then you have to like it has to be plain for them.
Okay.
Like plain. And you have to let them know like this is what I need to be turned on.
Mm-hmm.
You're turned on by the wind blowing. I'm turned on by this form of mental stimulation.
Right.
So what does that look like? It looks like doing this, saying this, doing this, saying this,
Okay.
showing me this, and continuing to educate them. And that's the part that I think a lot of women fall short on is like the education piece because it's I shouldn't have to teach him anything. He should
Right.
just know.
Right.
And then with you being a new mom, I don't know if it's your first child or not,
Second.
but like
Mm-hmm.
being a new mom, no matter what number child is
Mm-hmm.
on, like that's a lot of energy that's being extended
Mm.
to parenting, to, being
Working.
up with the child. It's
Yes.
also right. You also have a job and
Mm.
you do all these other things,
Yeah.
right? So like the socio-economical aspect comes in, the parenting aspect. By the end of the day, you are mentally
Mm.
exhausted.
Girl.
This is why you're mentally exhausted and you're probably physically exhausted too. But this is why, even as a sapiosexual, you need the mental stimulation to even be turned on because,
Right.
and it's like, you don't even want to think about it. You
Mm-mm.
want your partner to do that heavy lifting, especially if they're coming hot, horny, and ready. It's like, okay, well, I've been thinking all day. What can you do to help me not only unwind and relax into my body, but also stimulate me mentally so that the juices get flowing? And I think where there's a disconnect a lot of times with partners
Mm-hmm.
is the frustration of wanting it now.
Mm.
And what I understand, or at least what I've observed in my
Mm-hmm.
practice, is like, and in just having conversations online, is it seems like men are afraid of their erections going soft. Like,
Mm.
once they get hard, they want to stick it in
Ugh.
right then because it's like, I'm hard, I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah.
And so it's this fear that if they don't do it right now, they won't be able to get it up later.
Right.
And so it feels like a failed or missed opportunity, right?
Mm.
But if they would reframe their thinking and remember that, like, she has to be ready too.
Mm.
It's not just about you. then it would be a lot easier. And
Right.
that's the issue. It's
Right.
like when they're ready to do it, they just want you to roll over and be ready to be entered. And it's like, but you're
Yes.
not doing anything to stimulate me. The doors of the church are now
Right,
closed.
girl. They
I
are
don't
closed.
understand.
They locked.
I don't understand what you want. Right. They
Right.
are locked. The chain is on it and everything. Like, what do
Right.
you want? And
Right.
and even if you go the route of like using lube and stuff, like the vagina is sleep. The clit
Yeah.
is sleep. They
Sleep,
sleep.
honey. Pneumonia. They are.
They are right. They are comatose. Like
A comatose.
you're not doing anything to
Yes.
wake them up. You
Oh,
just expect
wow.
me to be hot and ready the way that you are,
Mm.
and that's
This is
also the
not Little
disconnect.
Caesar.
It's not low seas. We are not hot and ready because guess what?
Right.
Even though the vagina is warm and it's moist, that is in
Mm-hmm.
its natural state, but that doesn't mean it's an aroused state.
Mm.
And men think that our bodies work the same way their bodies
Right.
work, and it doesn't.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
They
Jesus.
don't. They can get erections in 60 seconds. It takes us 20 to 25 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes to get
Yes.
erections because we get erections too.
What you mean? Erections. How you
We
get
get
erections?
erections too.
Where?
We call it engorgement.
Ah.
We call it engorgement, but we have erectile tissue beds just like they do. Their
Really?
erectile tissue is just all in their penis. Corporal cavernosa, corporal spongiosum. Those are the
Mm.
two beds of erectile tissue in the penis. And we have the same in our internal clitoris, in our urethral sponge, and our perineal sponge. So we have three different erectile tissue beds
Wow.
that have to fill up with blood in order for our bodies to completely be sensitive and online. And this is also why a lot of women, at 80%, are not having vaginal orgasms because the clit is not engorged, it's not erect. Perennial sponge, definitely not
How
erect.
you know if it's erect or not? You can just feel
Uh,
it, or
the the sensitivity,
mm. Yeah.
sensitivity of the lips, the clitoral head, the sensitivity that you feel when being penetrated.
Mm.
Because I'm gonna show you, right? This is a clit, right?
Uh-huh.
This is the whole thing. Now, this is the part that we see,
Okay.
right? On the surface. And some people's is like real teeny tiny, but there's a whole
Oh my
shaft,
god. It like a little
you
penis.
know? Yes, it is.
Oh.
It's literally this right here is what's inside the penis. This this is the erectile tissue that's in the
Oh
penis.
wow. And we have that.
And yes, and also look, all bodies start out as female anyway until they are exposed to male
Okay.
hormones or whatever, right? But this is what it looks like. And guess what? You see this little opening?
Mm-hmm.
The vagina's right there.
Mm.
So these bulbs right here, they sit around the vagina and they sit around like the first 2 inches of the vagina.
Mm-hmm.
So they always trying to go deep and you missing all of this that you should be stimulating.
Mm.
Shallow
Jesus.
penetration, shallow penetration. And you got the Bartholin's glands. The Bartholin's glands are on both sides of the introitus or the opening of the vagina, and they are lubricating glands. Those glands are there to help lubricate the entrance of the vagina so that way there's no tearing. And they get stimulated from shallow
Oh
penetration.
my
What
god.
else do you have as shallow penetration? The perineal sponge, which is another erectile tissue bed. And then you also have the G area, AKA the G spot. So you have the
Oh
the
wow.
internal clitoris, the G area, which also accesses the urethral sponge, the perineal sponge, and those Bartholin's glands, all within the first 2 to 3 inches of the vagina. And yet, you're trying to go deep. So we need erections too.
Wow.
All of this is not going to engorge in a few seconds.
Oh my
It's
god.
especially when your brain
Jesus.
when your brain is impacted by all the
Mm.
stuff that we carry as women, because the like sex starts in the brain. The
Right.
brain is the largest sex organ,
Right.
and it's the brain that sends all the signals out to the rest of the body that say go forth, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and if you are somebody that lives with anxiety consistently, guess what? your body is like, bitch, be fucking for real. You are
Right.
anxious as hell right now,
Girl. Oh my
and
God.
I'm trying to keep your heart beating. So
This
we're
is
not
just too
trying to
much
send
good
blood to your clit.
Jesus.
Like, we're just not doing that right now. Like, sis, you got bigger things to think about,
But then you're
aka
saying
your bodily functioning.
if you take medication for it, then that's gonna make it dormant. So how the hell? What do you do? What the hell do you do?
Listen, unpopular opinion, but there are studies that show that this is highly effective in breath work, meditation.
Mm. We have all of the stuff we need already in us.
Meditate, meditate before you medicate. And I know that some people, they literally have chemical imbalances in their
Mm-hmm.
body where they depend on medication because it helps to balance that stuff out. And I'm a naturopathic person, so I am in the belief that there are herbs and there's natural remedies to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Western science definitely has us in a chokehold where we are pharmaceutical dependent,
Right.
and unfortunately, them pharmaceuticals don't give a damn
Mm-mm.
about
They
libido.
want the money.
Like those medicines don't give a damn.
Mm.
And then the thing about it is too, if it's a medication that's going to impact your heart or impact your blood flow, it's a wrap.
Oh wow.
Because engorgement or erections are all about blood flow.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
If blood's not flowing into the clit, you ain't gonna feel shit. That should be a slogan.
That's the title of this episode. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Girl, so much information, girl. And I have like 1,000 more questions. I'm gonna ask you 2 more, and hopefully we can do this again because I got like a thing of questions. Listen,
We could totally do it again.
perfect. And I'm gonna have to get with you to get on your schedule, girl, because this is crazy. Okay. Let me find a good one. Sex toys. What are your thoughts on sex toys? Are they beneficial? Do you have any favorites? Again, we're thinking about these couples out here who are bored or who aren't having orgasms and all these things. Like, what are your thoughts on sex toys? Do you have any that you would recommend?
Oh my
Should we
gosh.
not use them?
So I love sex toys,
Okay.
and there's a rainbow or a cornucopia
Yeah.
in a spectrum because okay, boom. You got the vibrators and the suction toys,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you got insertables like the dildos and the
Okay.
vibrating dildos and all of that. Then you have like you got sex toys for men. You got a bunch of like male masturbators that are in the shape of like body parts and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. You got electronic toys that are powered by teledildonics. So it's
Oh
basically
wow.
technology powered pleasure products, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got the Bluetooth activated stuff. You got all the kink and
Dude.
BDSM stuff. You got sex furniture. Like you got sex dolls. There is a plethora of things that people can get into. And it just all depends on your needs and your
Mm.
desires. People who have physical disabilities, sex furniture really works well for them because it helps them to get into those positions.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody with like sciatica, arthritis, um, even like conditions like lupus and MS,
Mm-hmm.
things that like impact the nervous system in a way where mobility can be limited.
Mm-hmm.
Even people who are in larger bodies, like people who may be diagnosed as morbidly obese and they can't really move that
Mm.
well, like sex furniture, very
Yeah.
helpful. Um, my favorites, like I really like Liberators products. I have a few of their sex furniture pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
they have been a lot of fun. Um, when it comes to vibrators, my favorite are the suction toys with like the air pulse technology.
Oh
So
wow.
anything by Satisfier, anything by Womanizer, anything by
What does it suck like it's sucking on your vagina?
the rose,
The rose,
the
yes.
rose toy,
Yeah.
that is that air pulse technology.
Oh.
And so it's for a clitoral stimulation.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something, all right? And this is also the key to unlocking vaginal orgasms. And a lot of women they're missing out on this.
Mm.
Internal masturbation.
With
A
the
lot of
dildo.
women, yes. So I'm gonna tell you, right?
Hmm.
Personally,
Okay.
I was not a dildo person.
Right.
I mostly have them to teach,
Hmm.
but I don't like the feeling of silicone
Right.
inside
Right.
of me,
Right.
for real. It's
Right.
not really that comfortable.
Right.
But what changed the game for me
Uh-oh.
were the tempered glass toys or the crystal
I've
toys
seen those.
because of the pressure.
That looks
The
painful.
pre It's not painful at all. It's very smooth. They glide in very nicely. You can warm them up, you can cool them down. They're easy to
Oh
clean,
my God.
and they hit the pressure points because there are pressure points in the vagina. They hit those pressure
Where?
points
Where
and
are
those
they?
pleasure.
Where are they? I'm joking.
Well, I just named a few,
Oh, you did name
the
that. Okay, yeah,
perineal
yeah,
spots, the
okay.
P area, A spot, P
Yeah.
spot, C spot. They're up in there. You know what I mean? But women don't often know them because they don't explore internally on their own. So my thing
Mm.
is this, right? You masturbating consistently by just, flicking the
Yeah.
bean, right? Or just like
Yeah.
toasting. And I'm gonna tell you something, like you can wear her out. You can wear her out by using vibrators all the time. So there needs to be a break.
Mm.
If not a break completely, like a break in the type of toy that you're using,
Okay.
or take a break from using toys and use fingers for a little bit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But I really do encourage more women to start exploring internally because I used to be anti internal masturbation because I
Hmm.
had this mindset of like, well, it should be real dick. It should
Yeah.
not be fake dick,
Right.
right? But 2015, I changed my mind. Once I experienced internal stimulation on my own for the first time. And the thing is the vagina is pressure sensitive.
Mm.
So the way that we reach those orgasms is through pressure.
Pressure.
This is why so many women are like, I prefer girth over length because
Mm.
they understand that it is the pressure
Girth.
on the walls, look, pressing against the clitoris, right? You
Wow.
see? And then pressing against those other erogenous zones that's going to get them there.
Wow.
Pressure. So I encourage more women to explore internal masturbation. And there are like dual stimulator toys
Okay.
that insert and also stimulate the clit at the same time. The
Mm.
rabbit, the rabbit is a very famous one.
Okay.
I mean, the rabbit is so famous. There's a international rabbit day
Lord Jesus.
in December.
Lord.
So that's my suggestion is like come out of just clitoral stimulation. And then when it comes to couples toys, right? And when it comes to internal masturbation, like if you're not yet ready to do it on your own, have your partner do it. Like
Mm.
you can hold the vibe, they can control the dildo and see how that feels. And then you can try it on your own, right? And even play a game with it where it's like, if you still have that feeling of like, my partner should really be the one doing this for me, then you can play a game like they're your dom and be like, babe, can I play with myself?
Wow.
Can you instruct me to do this? Right.
Mm.
And that's how you spice it up. Because a lot of times men do feel intimidated by toys that are
Yeah.
like, I can't do what that toy has done. But if you
Mm.
incorporate them into your self pleasure, or you incorporate the toys into your play, and you let them know that it's not a replacement for them,
Mhm.
it's just an enhancement to what they're
Wow.
doing. Now they've come into the fold of playing with the toys with you, and then like get them a fleshlight, get them
Mm.
a booty masturbator. Like if I was to turn my camera, you would see all the stuff that I have
Oh
in my
my
office.
God.
So, like, allow them to
Wow.
explore too. Like, there's so many like masturbation toys out there for men that they can also enjoy when they're not with you.
Mhm.
So, like,
Wow.
gotta explore.
Does a internal orgasm, like, is there a difference in the feeling between an internal orgasm and like a clitoral oral? Is it like what's the like? Is there a different feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the ones internally, you feel them deep within your pelvis. You can feel your cervix firing off. You can feel your uterus sometimes firing off. Um,
Mm.
Sometimes, like if the anus, like if anal stimulation is also incorporated, you
Mm-hmm.
can feel your anus firing off.
Firing
And
off.
like you just feel like pulsating. And then um interestingly enough, like in Chinese medicine, the cervix is connected to the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing about the cervix is like cervical penetration or pressing against the cervix for a lot of women doesn't feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
because it is a sensitive area.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way that you treat it, and some people have cervical trauma from
Right.
like either childbirth and or rough sex.
Yeah.
So, and that's the C spot.
Mm.
So it's like, cervical orgasms are a thing, but a lot of women will never experience them because it's such a tender spot. And then up around the cervix too. So some women can't handle, and it's not their fault because like these men don't know how to stroke properly
Mm.
to hit those spots in a way that's gentle,
Right.
you know. But it does feel different,
Mm.
and like the amount of wetness,
Mm.
amount of sensitivity,
Mm.
like the surrender. I think it's that for me.
Surrender.
I
That's
think
a
it's
strong
the sur
word.
the
Jesus.
surrender,
Mm.
because once they happen, you just gotta let it happen. Like, you just gotta, like, ride the wave and breathe through it and let the
Breathe.
waves of that orgasm just reverberate throughout your entire body so that it's an expanded orgasm. Ah,
Girl, we gonna be mad at you
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to think about one
oh
person in
my
particular because it's like, oh my,
god. What in the
yeah.
hell? Last question, and please come back because I got so many more.
Oh,
Here's a
yes.
question of the damn night. Now, again, I know my friends gonna be like, "Here the bitch go." What are your tips for writing?
Oh, well, I am the cowgirl queen, okay? And check out the
Yes.
cowgirlworkout.com. I'm
Okay.
actually relaunching my program because I started the online program during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I started transitioning stuff in 2018 online a little bit, but COVID was like full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm redesigning it to make it even more what's where I'm looking for, adaptable
Okay.
for women on a daily basis. But first things first, this is my slogan, okay? And it's trademark pending.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not a glide, it is not a ride.
Mm.
So if you don't feel the glide of the dick moving in and out of the vagina, you're not actually stroking it. You're just doing the wobble. And the
Glide.
wobble, the wobble is cool, but the wobble, it's gonna look like this inside, like this,
I feel like I be
right?
doing that.
But
Lord
a
Jesus.
but a glide is like that.
How do you glide?
Because you gotta remember the penis is both pressure and friction sensitive.
Okay.
The shaft is more pressure sensitive, the head is more friction sensitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way that you glide is through isolations of the hips,
Mm.
being able to lift and lower the hips without using all of your body weight to push down.
Mm.
So it does require core strength. It requires uh, glute, hamstring, and quad strength,
Mm.
and breath control as well. Because I always tell my clients too, I'm like, whatever your pussy won't do, I mean, whatever your body won't do, like your
Mm-hmm.
hips won't do, your pussy can do because you can also
Mm.
kegel. You also kegel and grab that way, right?
Mm.
So what I teach is stamina, because a lot of women get up there and they
Ugh.
complain about like first
Get me
90
off of
seconds,
here.
it's a wrap.
Right.
Check engine light comes on the knees, baby. Out of
Girl.
breath, you be sweating bullets after 90 seconds because the stamina ain't there, baby.
Mm-mm.
And there's also this disconnect of the motor skills that's needed
Mm.
to control the hips. So
Mm.
get up there and you're trying to like maneuver, trying to figure it out, and you're looking like Tina from Bob's Burgers doing the, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's really crazy because they don't want to say nothing for real because they love you,
Yeah.
but they're just like, this ain't it, baby. And then they just switch the
Ooh.
position, right? And then you're like, thank God, because I'm not trying to be up there.
Girl, get me off of here.
So, right, exactly, exactly. And so I don't just train choreography. What I do is I train the muscles
Okay.
that are utilized in supporting you in the ride.
Mm.
And then sometimes too, it's the position. Like when he's flat and you on top, it's like perpendicular. There needs to be
Mhm.
an angle in the hips.
Mm.
And those are just slight changes of his body positioning. And you ain't always got to ride in the bed either. Like you can ride on the couch or in a chair, which is much easier because the pelvis is already at an angle, and then you have more support
Mm.
for like at the back of the couch or the back of the chair.
Mhm.
If you're in a chair and you're straddling and your feet can touch the ground, you got the ground as support. Like
Mm.
there's so much, but the the skill set that's needed is not even that deep. Like,
Mm.
but it is, there is a depth to it because there's several muscle groups that are being engaged at the
Mm.
same time in order to have the perfect glide. And you don't have to move your hips that much. And you don't have to be super animated. Like, I'm pretty sure you've seen porn where it just looks like she is going to town.
Yeah.
Like, and that's really done for effect because, like, the bigger the booty, like the effect of like the booty clapping
Yeah.
around the dick
Mm.
looks really good. It does.
Yeah.
But the amount of movement, and I tell my clients this all the time, there's a difference between macro movements and micro
Right.
movements. I teach with macro movements to build the muscle memory. The micro movements are what you're actually going to use when you're on the dick and you're in practice.
Okay.
Because micro movements, it's like literally you only need like that much space between pelvises to get a good stroke in. You
Really?
don't gotta have that much space. That's too much. This is way
Mm.
too much space. This is way too much space. It's like this,
Wow.
like that. 1 to 3 inches of space. And then when you have the motor skills to control, then you get that glide going. So I
What?
teach like eight to nine different stroke patterns,
Mhm.
but I always say you only need to perfect one
Mm.
because you can use that one
Right.
at different speeds, in different positions.
Mm.
So I don't know what anybody else teaches with their, classes. And I like to say I'm the pioneer of this shit because
Right.
again, nobody was doing it before and at the level of touring and doing all that
Right.
until I started doing it. But the thing that has sustained me is the fact that I'm going to the core of the issues
Mm.
because on top of developing the muscles that help support you on top, but it's building the stamina.
Mm.
Breath control.
Breath
Breath control is
control.
really important,
Mm.
and flexibility. Because a lot
Mm.
of women will be like, "Oh, my knees, oh, my inner thighs are burning," right?
Jesus.
And if you are a person that doesn't have any health conditions that impact your joints or like have like chronic inflammation,
Mhm.
the reason why your knees are tight is because your hamstrings are tight.
Mm.
You're not stretching, baby girl.
Right. Ooh,
You're not stretching.
stretching.
And we sit down most of the day. Most of us sit down working. We don't stretch them hamstrings. So now your knees
Wow.
taking the brunt of the weight.
Mm, 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 mm. Listen.
So it's a physical look. I say that riding dick is a sport, and it's my favorite sport.
Really?
It's because I love snatching souls. I love
Snatching
seeing
soul.
I love seeing the astonishment, the bewilderment, and the fear in the eyes of men.
Oh my God. Snatching. I want to snatch a soul. I want to snatch a soul. Because
Hey,
I mean, I feel like, I have a really good amount of butt back there. And I feel like I need to
okay,
use
but
it. But I need to use it. And I feel like glide. Am I gliding? Am I up there gliding?
and, and I'll tell you something. When you got butt, okay, you ain't really gotta do much. And the thing is, some booties shake like jello, some shake like jam. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Denser booties don't have much movement, but you still have to know how to lift and lower that booty.
right.
Okay.
Right.
So I will say this. I think that those of us that have more body, it's a little more challenging only because we have more to move.
Right. Right.
Because you feel it. But this is where strength training comes in. This is why I do strength training. Because I'm like, how you gonna feel comfortable moving your ass
Mm,
if if you're not used to feeling it? And I'm gonna tell
wow.
you something, right? Especially if you black.
Hmm.
This idea of like being fast that was like ingrained into us when we were younger,
Yeah.
especially if you have a more developed body, like you had to cloak your body, and it was also like don't walk like that because your booty move, so
Jiggle.
like we end up
Yeah.
getting stiff hips,
Mm,
and with that comes like a lack of rhythm and like coordination. And that's why riding feels so awkward on top. It's like
ooh.
you never wanted to bring attention to your butt,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so now you try to get on top and move, it's stuck because you hear grandmama and you hear mama in your head.
Yes.
You're not trying to bring them into the bedroom, but it's just
Oh my
something that has been
God.
ingrained.
It
And so there
is.
has to be an unlocking of the hips and
Mm,
like these are the layers of things that I have taken into account when I've developed my program,
right.
because it's more than just teaching choreography and going to a class and having fun
Right.
bouncing around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because you can go to a class like that, right? And have fun, but still leave not feeling confident to
Right.
jump on top.
Right.
Because like when I tour and stuff, I'm doing a master class, but where the sauce is the practice and coming into the
Right.
tribe and getting your work in daily.
Mm,
And all you really need is 20 to 25 minutes of daily movement. If you
wow.
can do a quickie, because I'm the home of the quickie, if you can do a quickie and you do that a few times a week,
Mm,
it's going to help you develop the muscle memory
a
to
few times
stroke
a week.
back and snatch souls. And I always tell my ladies, like, listen, you don't have to be a marathon runner when it comes to riding dick if you don't want to, but I
Mm,
am teaching you how to snatch souls in 3 minutes or
wow.
less if
Three.
you so desire it. Because this should be a finishing move. If you're not trying to be up there forever,
Mm,
this should be a finishing move,
wow. See, I,
right?
I do it in the beginning just to get it over with.
See, but that's the problem. You do it in the beginning, and he got all the stamina, and he ain't
Girl.
even nowhere near his ending. So you be up there struggling. But
Right.
I'm gonna tell you this: when you get your training,
Mm.
you're gonna be able to get up there, and he gonna be like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 slow down." That's how you know you got that ass. Whoa, 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 slow down. Like I ain't slowing
Mm.
down. So you better hold on.
Oh my God. I gotta find some use to this ass because I'm thinking, damn, it should be easy for me because I got a lot back there. Like I shouldn't have to do a whole
Listen.
lot, man. God.
But see, also, I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
That is one of the things that is a heavy misconception with
Oh
us. And we got thighs and
no.
booty. It's like, I don't gotta do much because it's there.
It's
But the
there.
thing is, we need to act like, because it's there. The thing that makes it really attractive is when it moves.
Mm, I
Like
know.
when it moves. So when you stroke back, it's gonna move. And
So
when it moves,
I just lost my question. Oh Lord. Oh, okay. So when you're on top, here's the thing I'd be thinking about too. Do you like, and it's gonna sound really dumb how I'm gonna say this, but do you like, because I be thinking, okay, when I'm on top, I'm having all these thoughts in my head, do this, do that, do that. And I wanna make sure I'm clenching. Cause I feel like if I open, is it gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I gonna be open on it? Like, I feel like, okay, I gotta be tight and clenched, but then I'm clenched.
Yeah, no. So the
She
only
said,
time you
yeah,
really want to
no.
clench is if you're yeah, no. If you if you, so that's the thing. If you intentionally clench and you're clenched the whole time, it's just going to create anxiety in your
Yeah.
body, and then it's going to create tightness in the pelvic floor. So you do want to be more relaxed when you are on it. And the only time you want to clench is when you want to add a little kicker into your
Razzle
ride,
dazzle.
right? Where like when you go down on it, you open up,
Mhm.
and then when you come up, you squeeze, right? Because
Ah.
again, pressure sensitive, the shaft is pressure sensitive. So
Mm.
you can do a combo where it's like open, close, but
Ooh.
not just close,
See, I don't want to be thinking I'm
you
not
know,
open, close, open, close. When
but also just staying open, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. When you clench, then sure, it can add more pressure on the vaginal walls, but then it's almost kind of like counterproductive because you're trying to like penetrate and go deeper when it's just clenched.
Mm.
So again, relaxation
Right.
is the key.
Yeah.
So if you open up and the vagina is not a gaping hole. It's
Yeah.
actually a collapsed column of skin cells basically, and it's a hole in the middle. So it's not
Mm.
just going to be open,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
what what your partner will feel is he will feel your vagina is more relaxed and open
Mm.
to receive. And that's what they want to feel.
Ooh.
You ever heard a man say, open for me,
Mm. I have.
open for me? That's what he's really saying. It's like, relax that
Ah.
pussy, open
Yeah.
it up for me so I can get deeper, so
Oh
I
my
can really
God.
feel you. When she is closed, when she is sleep,
Wow. She be
she
asleep.
is
Mm.
yeah, she's not receded further back towards the cervix. Like the vagina literally lengthens,
Mm-hmm.
just like erections lengthen the penis. Vaginas also lengthen too.
Wow.
And the purpose for that is to move closer to the cervix, which is closer to the uterus for procreation.
Mm.
So you want to be open,
Oh wow. Open.
not closed. And the only time you Kegel is when you want an extra pizzazz, but you want to be open.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
See, I don't think about sex for my pleasure. I don't. I don't. I really
And
don't.
that's the problem.
I don't. I truly
That's the
don't.
problem. And I tell all my clients this because I'm like, a lot of these women come to me like, oh my God, I really want to please my partner. It is completely admirable and okay to want to be a partner that pleases. And when you don't center your pleasure in the experience, you're completely losing out on what sex is for you.
Mm.
And so I always tell my clients, I'm like, when you come into this workout, this is not about doing this for your man. It's about you doing this for you first because you are
Mm.
going to be in control of the depth of the dick,
Wow.
the speed of the dick, the pressure of the dick, how long the sex lasts, because
Mm.
now it's a power dynamic shift and now you're the one in
Mm.
control. And so you get to run the show. Just be
Wow.
like,
That sounds
look at
scary.
me. I'm the captain now.
Wow.
I'm the captain now.
Traumatized.
So yeah, so you know,
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. That's
shifting that
crazy.
mindset shifting that mindset from this is about him to this is about me and for me, and that's my dick, and I
Mm.
get to jump on that, and I get to maneuver it so that it hits the spots that I really enjoy.
Mm.
Center yourself, because otherwise, what is it for? Because if you're just getting up there and it's not for you, then you may as well just get a fleshlight or a pocket pussy, lube it up, and just give him a hand job.
Yeah. Mm.
Because if your pleasure is not centered, then why masturbate? Why allow him to masturbate with your body
Mm.
when you can just jack him off? Like, doesn't make sense.
Wow. You're right. You are
And
right.
again, that's because sex has been patriarchy has has placed the priority on penis and also penetration as the center of sexual pleasure,
Mhm.
and a reclaiming of sex for ourselves as vagina owners, womb owners, as women, is centering our pleasure first and also taking it out of this whole idea of orgasm focus, penis focus,
Mm.
and being intimacy and pleasure
Mm.
focused,
Jesus.
where it starts here first. And it starts with saying, what do I want?
What do I want?
What do I want?
Mm.
And sometimes you don't want penetration. Sometimes you just wanna be held.
Mm.
Sometimes you just wanna feel the hard dick against your booty cheeks.
Right.
Sometimes you just want to feel the breath on the back of your neck and some
Right.
soft lips just caressing and kissing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just wanna hear positive affirmations in your
Mhm.
ear. Sometimes you just wanna sit and look at them
Yeah.
and just breathe together. Like, sometimes
Mm.
you want the non-penetrative stuff because
Right.
that
Mm.
is what builds intimacy,
You're
but if you're
right.
not asking yourself what you want, you are
Mm.
doing yourself a disservice,
Yeah.
and if you're never gonna ask yourself what you want and make sex about you before you
Mm.
make it about them, then like I said, you may as well just go get a
Wow.
pocket pussy and stock up on lube
Mm.
and toy cleaner and jack him off
Right.
because why? Why? If you are
Yeah.
not present in the sexual experience, then why subject yourself to that?
Mm.
Because you know what's going to happen over time? All you're going to do is build up resentment and then disdain for
Right.
that person. And you're going to hate sex
Right.
because you're like, ugh, why am I doing this?
Right. And see, like when your partner is very hypersexualized and that intimacy is lacking, then if you walk by, it's just sex, 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 and so it almost makes you feel dirty. Like like when there's no
Hmm.
intimacy, it just makes sex feel like a dirty thing, and there is no pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Because
And,
there is no intimacy.
and you know
Mm.
what's crazy? It's like women don't even understand how much power they actually have. And like, we hear it in songs
Hmm.
and, we hear it being chanted like pussy is power, but
Yeah.
y'all don't really believe that. Y'all don't believe that
Yeah.
because if you did, then you would do full stop, full break. And again, I understand that, patriarchal programming, puritanical programming, and all of the generational trauma stuff impacts this.
Hmm.
But if you truly felt empowered as a woman and you truly felt empowered in pursuing your own pleasure, it would be full stop. Excuse me, sir. If you want any part of this good coochie, I need you to abide by some rules that prioritize my pleasure. And it's
Mm.
not, you ain't gotta say it like that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There, but it's the
Yeah. Yeah.
sentiment,
Yeah.
that's the sentiment of it. So it's like, you can't just come over here thinking you finna get some.
Right.
I need you to talk to me nice.
Right. Mm.
And you have to be willing to guide that experience because just telling them what to do, they're gonna be like, all right, so,
Ugh.
because they get real dumb when that dick is hard. So
Right.
like you
Ugh.
literally have to be the one to guide the experience
Mm.
and have the confidence to do that. And a
Wow.
lot of women don't have the
Mm-mm.
confidence to do that because
No.
they don't have the knowledge on what that looks like
Wow.
for them.
Mm.
This is why they turn to porn and look at porn as an example of what to do, but that's the worst thing to look at,
Right.
specifically because it's performative and it's performative in a way that calls for that scene.
Mm.
It's not going to particularly translate to your bedroom with your partner and y'all dynamic.
Wow. Confidence. That's a big word.
Confidence is key. It, it,
It's a big
hey,
word. It's a big word, especially
it,
sexually. You can be confident all day, but when it come time to perform, and I know that's probably the wrong word, like that confidence can go down window, like down the window,
yes,
you know? Mm, mm, mm,
absolutely.
mm.
Because And I'm gonna tell you, also where porn does a disservice for women is like, if men are heavy consumers of porn, then they have this expectation of what sex
Mm,
should look like,
right,
especially if they're pleasuring themselves to that kind of content consistently.
right,
Then if you're not matching up with that, then they feel disappointed.
right.
And Lord
Mm,
God, it is a conundrum in a
mm,
way
mm, mm, mm.
because Porn in itself is not bad,
Right.
but what we don't have enough of is like this education around, okay, what's performative and what's
Right.
actually like real life
Right.
experiences.
Exactly.
So there's so much
Mm.
education that's needed specifically around empowering women to feel confident and making the choices that prioritize and centralize their pleasure.
Right.
That first, and then helping them to turn their senses on,
Mm.
then helping them to consistently ask the question, what do I want? And I'm gonna tell
Uh,
you something.
mm.
All this stuff that I'm saying, literally, when I coach people, there is no actual sex involved.
Mm.
Because I guarantee you, if you are not showing up for yourself in the bedroom and asking yourself what you want sexually, you're not doing that in other areas of your life either.
Mm.
You're not.
Mm.
You're putting
Wow.
everything and everybody else above yourself,
Mm.
and you're rarely asking yourself, what do you want?
Wow. That is
And you
so
go throughout life
scary.
every single day being what you consider to be minorly inconvenienced, but
Mm.
an inconvenience is an inconvenience.
Not you reading me for not you
I'm
reading
just
my
saying.
card. I'm joking. I'm
I'm
joking. I'm
just saying.
joking.
I don't mean,
I'm
like
joking.
I'm in here. I'm in here now. I'm in here now. So
Oh
like why are you sitting in your house with cold feet, like literal cold feet or cold arms, when you can ask yourself what you want in that moment and it's to be warm? Well, how do I do that? Go get some footies or house shoes or go get your robe and put it on.
my god. Right.
Yeah, now cozy, pleasure.
Mm.
That's pleasure. But see, we look at those things and say they are minor inconvenience. It doesn't matter right now. I'm in my groove of work. Oh, well, it doesn't matter right now because I got to go take care of the kid. Oh, it doesn't matter right now because I got to go grocery shopping. It doesn't matter right now because insert whatever it is that has
Right.
nothing to do with you,
Right.
right? But it's your responsibilities. And because you have these responsibilities, you're like, well, I need to be the sacrificial lamb. And
Mm.
then you end up being a martyr because you think that it's admirable because that's what it means to be a woman. It's like to be sacrificial, but you don't have to sacrifice your pleasure
No.
to serve others.
Mm.
You should actually never serve anybody else before you serve yourself. It should be God,
Wow.
you, and then everybody else.
Mm. Wow.
But again, patriarchal programming will have us believing that it's God and everybody else, including that man, and then
Mm.
it's me.
Wow.
And then you get to yourself and you got an empty ass cup. You're supposed to be pouring from your cup. It's supposed to be overflowing, and you overflow your cup by prioritizing your pleasure first.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
I,
Lord
you
have
know, like
mercy. Ooh.
why do I have orgasms without being penetrated? Because I prioritize my
Right.
pleasure first. What?
Jesus.
And and in every way possible. I'm talking about if I sit down somewhere and a seat is uncomfortable, I'm like, nah,
Wow.
I need a different seat. If I get food that is not to my liking or it's cold or whatever, nah.
How did you get there
Excuse
though? Like,
me.
how did you get there? How the heck did you get there?
Practice.
Mm. But how did you
Practice
even get
and
to the
no
mind state to even begin to practice? Because that's big. Like, how did you even get to a mind state to even think that, okay, I need to practice this?
so it was like me looking at my life and asking myself, was I happy? Was I
Mm.
actually enjoying myself?
Mm.
Was this actually what I wanted? And being honest with myself. Did you actually want to eat that? Or did you eat it because you thought you had to? It was like, I thought I had to.
Mm. Wow.
Wow. Boom. And literally, I practiced advocating for myself.
Mm.
And talking to
Wow.
you, it's just mind blowing to me because I'm not gonna lie. I came out of burnout, like real
Mm.
bad. And coming into this year, I've been really examining, like, as a coach, again, what are my strengths and where do I need to focus? And just
Right.
hearing you speak, I'm like, oh, this is where I need to
Right.
focus because this is so simple to me. But
Yeah.
hearing you talk, I'm like, oh,
Oh,
no, this is not
wow.
simple to her or a plethora of women on the
Mm.
face of this earth. Men too, but I focus
Yeah.
on women because women have less ego. Okay.
Right.
But
Right.
practice. And it's so funny because it what you just said reminded me of an experience I had in New York. I went to go see the Donna Summers Broadway
Mhm.
uh play,
Yeah.
right? Love Donna Summers. I
Mm.
love disco. Disco and funk is my shit.
Yeah.
So I went to the show and I had like a little afro puff in my head and I had on this jumpsuit. It was it was kind of like low cut, but it was like sparkly,
Yeah.
beautiful. And so this lady came up to me, a little short white lady. She was like, "You are so beautiful. Can I take a picture of you for my daughter?" I was like, "Sure." And she took a picture of me. She was like, "My daughter would just love this." She was like, "So tell me, like, how did you just get confident to like wear stuff like this?"
Oh, wow.
And I told her, I was like, "Practice."
Mm.
Because there was a time in my life where I was not allowed to wear stuff like that. And I had to cloak my body because I had a
Wow.
grown
Mm.
body at a very young age
Mm.
where I looked much older than my age. Like I was like 10 years old, looking like I was 17. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So like
Wow.
I couldn't wear stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wear stuff like that until like my 20s.
Wow.
So it literally took me practice. Like shopping for me is still kind of like,
Mm.
but I had to go in the store, try on these clothes, look at myself, like spend like maybe hours in the store
Wow.
looking at myself, working up the confidence to even just buy the thing,
Wow.
buy it, and then sometimes like I'll just put it on, I'll go somewhere real quick, and then come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I did it.
Right.
And then I would wear it again and I would wear it out somewhere where I knew I was going to be out longer.
Mhm.
And yeah, sure, there was like awkwardness of like shifting things and
Yeah.
like, tugging on the clothes and stuff. And then you know what ends up happening? Someone comes up and this is the universe conspiring for your
Mm.
benefit. Someone comes up and is like, "You look fabulous in that."
Wow.
Or "That color looks great on you."
Mm.
Or "Wow, you're smoking hot," or whatever. So like
Wow.
there are people externally that are affirming me, right?
Right.
And then it's like, huh. And then you keep practicing,
Mm.
you keep receiving those affirmations from other people, and then affirming yourself before you even go outside. And then your vibration is going to match the vibration
Mm.
outside. And then you attract more of that. And then that's how you build the confidence.
Wow.
People think that confidence is innate. It is not.
Mm.
Confidence comes from empowerment.
Right.
And I have so much confidence because of how my parents also raised me.
Mm.
Like
Wow.
my parents always empowered me and said that I'm the best of the best. I'm the top of the top.
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
beneath or below anybody. And also, I'm not above anybody.
Mm.
That even though you're the best of the best and you're not beneath anybody, know how to treat people, even if they are not at the same intellect level
Right.
as you or economic status as you, because that's called compassion.
Right.
So I've had that empowerment for my whole life.
Mm.
So growing up with that instilled a
Wow.
confidence in me that seems like it's natural, but it came from consistent
Mm.
empowerment and
Exercising.
affirmations
Mhm.
from my parents. So people who grew up not having that, just telling people, and this is what I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah.
What I hate around like the coaching space sometimes is like the superficial ass shit. I'm like, you
Mm.
can't just tell somebody be confident.
Right. Mm-mm.
You can't
Mm-mm.
you can say it, right? But where the
Right.
coaching comes in is giving them the tools to learn how to do that
Right.
and
Mhm.
being able to hold their hand through the process
Right.
because that shit's fucking scary.
Right. Right.
It is so scary
Mm.
when you see what you wanna be and you see how you want to express yourself and you see the pleasure that you wanna have, but you're right here, you're just like,
Mm.
and then you take one little pinky toe and you step over there, and it's like, "Ah!"
Mm.
And then you come back. But
Wow.
praise yourself for the pinky toe step out
That's
because
true.
you
Baby
stepped out.
steps. Right.
Ba super baby
Mm.
steps, but that's how, slow and steady.
Right.
Because a lot of times we try to, in this microwavable society that we live in now, in these short attention spans, we think we can just turn stuff around in 24 hours, and
Right.
it's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm.
It's not gonna happen. But if you work daily at the thing that you want, I promise you, you will see results in 30 days.
Wow. Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
It's not gonna be a full 180, but it's gonna be like, 10 degrees,
Yeah.
10 degrees, you know what I'm saying? Like, but a 10-degree shift is way more than where you were before. So,
Exactly.
like,
Mm,
I cannot emphasize enough that coaching is so important. And I
right.
appreciate you
Girl.
in even having this conversation because it really has affirmed a lot for me and
Wow.
where I need to show up because I'm telling you, I live, and it's funny, one of my best friends, she's like, I don't really think you live in the real world with the rest of us.
Oh my God. Listen, we ain't all having orgasms over and over.
Right.
That's
Like,
not
she literally, she was just like, I just don't really think that you live in the
right.
same world as us. So let me tell you what's happening in the real world with the rest of
Yeah.
us humans. And I'm like, friend, you are hilarious, but I think you're right
Mm,
about that because again, what seems so simple to me and just like second nature
mm,
is not to others. And when I
right.
come out of my world and I step into the real world and I have conversations like this and I'm talking to average everyday women, they literally don't have that confidence or
Right.
empowerment.
Mm, 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 mm.
So this is where
Wow.
I'm gonna show up more because I'm like,
Girl.
sisters, sisters,
Come,
sisters,
come,
please,
gather, gather.
please, sisters, I beg of you, please prioritize
Lord
yourself because
Jesus.
these guys are not gonna do it for
They sure
you. You
aren't.
gotta do it for
They
yourself.
sure aren't. Tyomi,
Look,
listen, this has been the
they don't
best.
care.
They don't care, child. All they want is
They
that.
don't care for real. Some of them do. Some of them really do care,
Yeah,
but
some of them do. Now, some of them do. And that's another
some of
story
them
for
really
another
do
day.
care. But on average,
Mm.
y'all,
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
prioritize
horrible.
yourself, ladies.
Yes.
That's my last piece. Mic drop. Like,
Right. Listen, tell us where we can find you. How can we book you? How can we find you?
well, you can find me on Instagram at Real Glamazon Tyomi. And I also have a Calendly link that you can book me for sessions. And that's calendly.com/Tyomi.
Okay.
And you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Glamazon Tyomi,
Okay.
on YouTube under Glamoratica
I
101.
remember that. Lord Jesus.
And if you want to come work out with me and be trained on how to snatch souls and prioritize
Mm,
your pleasure on top and beyond, come to thecowgirlworkout.com
yes.
and my website, thepleasureacademy.com, which are all self-guided courses for you to go
Mm,
through the steps of improving your sex life at your own pace.
okay.
So if you forget any of that, if you put Tyomi Morgan in Google,
And I'm putting
you
it
can
all in the
find
bottom.
everything.
Yes. And I'm gonna put all of this. I'm gonna get to all of this and put it in the description so we all can find you and book
Yes.
you. Girl, this was very eye-opening for me. And I'm sure it's gonna be very
Like,
eye-opening for all the listeners and all the viewers. And I gotta have you back because I got so many more questions. Listen, y'all. Thank you so much for
yes.
listening to the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast, y'all. We will see you in the next episode.